Welcome everybody, another 2 vs 2 Starcraft 2 commentary by Negative Space. Here spawning as the Terran player, my ally Paladin spawning as the Zerg, and our opponents Jeff spawning as the Teal Terran, and as our other opponent Hank spawning as the Purple Protoss. This is a 2 vs 2 on the map Tempest, and I don't know if you might have noticed by the video size, this is a very long game. I am super excited, but I don't want to spoil anything for you. But sorry, I'm probably not going to be a whole lot of time to be able to fast forward to try to make it go a little bit quicker, just because it's so action-packed, and I'm just so excited. I can't wait for it to get underway. So we're talking a little bit about our previous game. We got cannon rushed by some cannons we couldn't even reach because they were on the low ground. No way our units could even get to it, and that's just sometimes a case of scouting, and your overlord just happened, and the pylons just happening to be right outside the overlord's vision. Pretty standard builds going down here so far. My ally just droning up, getting my supply depot down because that's what I have to do first. Our opponent's doing the same, but the Terran player looks like he's starting off a wall, and the Protoss player is starting off a wall on his ramp. On this map, it's pretty common for players to, especially if they're Terran or Terran Protoss, or sometimes even Protoss, to be able to wall off this whole main area here on the lower ramp. This Protoss player Hank moving out with a probe. Looks like he's going to go probe around the map, try to see what he can see as rally point going around the map. My ally getting down his spawning pool and gas. See what type of our opponent's going. Is this 2 gate and 2 barracks? It could be going for an early push here, or maybe just trying to get enough units to be able to strengthen their bases. See overlords moving out here, trying to see as much as they can. Very good unit just to be able to scout, just see the outline of their bases. Myself getting my second barracks up about the same timing as our opponent. Terran here finishing his wall off, getting his Marines in here in the back. Guess he doesn't want us to know how many he has. Oh, and that Marine gets the probe. I missed that a little bit, and it lags a little bit. Marine definitely proud of himself. I say FU probe, just because nobody likes having probes in their bases. Starting my add-ons, pretty typical for me now to start off with a reactor and a tech lab against Terran or Protoss, or Protoss or Terran. But our ally is getting 3 barracks. I'm sorry, our opponent's getting 3 barracks. And the other opponent, what is this? Oh, another pylon. Nothing too much to worry about, but he's pumping out zealots. Doesn't look like he's using his chrono boost on this. It looks like he's used a little bit. Probably using it on probes. Probably doesn't want to use it on his gateways since he'd be supply blocked there pretty soon. My ally getting up his expansion. No army yet for him, getting out some Zerglings now. Hopefully we meet that timing. Looks like our opponents are 4th barracks. No upgrades yet, just massing Marines. Definitely looks like our opponents are going to go for an early push here as the Protoss gets up a 3rd gateway. Definitely, and their units are moving out here a little bit. Looks like they're just sitting in front of their ramp for now. And we'll see what happens here. I am still on 2 barracks, although I got a reactor on 1. Looking at the supply counts here, I am about even with the Terran player, but a little bit behind the Protoss player. Looks like a Zergling just moved out to scout there. And we'll see what happens. Another Zergling here on the watchtower. Uh-oh, looks like a few Zerglings might get caught off guard. Oh no, we definitely need as much units as we can as they're moving out here. My allies' expansion almost complete. Could possibly lose that, but they're moving around the other way. Some more Zerglings here. Need to be able to get out 10 Zerglings on the production tab now. Need to be able to get out as much as possible as they're moving in here. And the expansion gets cancelled even though they're moving around the other side. Maybe not have even gone over there trying to get a bunker down. Let's see what happens. All these units moving in, a lot of zealots. My ally only has a few Zerglings here, more spawning, but those getting picked off at the bottom of the ramp. And I'm trying to pull away some units here. As we lose more Zerglings, probably could have sandwiched. Stim pack is not done yet. Look at that, only about 75% done. Whereas I've gone for the stim pack tech, but the opponent's just gone for straight Marines. See who holds out on units in this matchup. Our opponent's rallying more units here. Looks like they're rallying up about 2 Marines and 2 Zealots at a time. But Zealots here getting a lot of drones. Don't want to be losing those drones. But we are able to take out the push. Lost a lot of drones here. Look at that. Only 3 drones left. And they're rallying more units in here. Able to pick off some guys. So it's probably where that, if that expansion was able to complete, would come in a lot handy here. But look at how many units they're rallying in. A lot of units. Even more Marines somehow. Even though we took out their first push, they're able to rally in a lot of units, starting to pull theirs back. The bad rally point got, they had that rally point pretty far forward and were able to pick off some reinforcements. See if they were able to macro back up and be able to push again. Holding the tower, definitely need to know if they're moving out again. I get a 3rd barracks up, but I get 2 tech labs. Probably think that the Protoss player would have got some stalkers, but instead just straight up Zealots and Marines. Probably would have been more beneficial to get another reactor using the extra resources to expand myself. Hopefully, I was thinking usually at this point players will just sit in their bases and macro up themselves, either having to, they did a lot of economic damage on the my Zerg partner. Zerg partner getting up an expansion over here instead, need to be able to catch up as our opponents are not expanding at all at this point. Protoss player, look at that, just now getting his gas. Cybernetics core just about halfway done. And this Terran player researching shields first, that's interesting. His other tech lab going up. Something I like to do a lot of the time is to get the extra barracks just to be able to get upgrades. Don't want to lose Marine training time to get... God, cats! Gotta make noise. Sorry about that. Cats deciding to wrestle in my bedroom while I'm casting. Oh, now this player getting out a few Marauders. As the other player is getting out some Stalkers, some Zealots now. Also a good idea just to mix up some Marauders, even if the opponent just goes Marines or small units, just because the Marauders have a longer range and more of your units would be able to engage just having a few Marauders mixed into your army rather than just straight up Marines. Engineering bay now. Was thinking maybe during that whole push it could have been possible for this player to just be able to tech up to Dark Templar, and then sometimes after a push like that the player can just straight up make Dark Templar, and while pushing earlier they could have just got us on the back foot, not able to really get ahead, and then simply not have had the resources to be able to get detection. But this player not doing that, still going for this early tier 1 build. This player is supply blocking himself. Only 10 energy on his orbital command. This SCV not doing anything. Oh, I guess the supply depot must have just completed. Another supply depot going down here. Definitely need to keep up on those supply depots, trying to pump out of 6 barracks at a time. And they're not scouting at all right here either. They should definitely be scouting, seeing if we're expanding. At this point, they could have known. We probably would have had a lot less units if they'd known we had gone, used up some resources into expanding. And then that could have meant that they would have a lot more units than us. Looking at the supply count again, I'm at 79. The other Terran player's at 83, so they're not too far ahead. The other player at 76. Somehow still able to macro up a lot of units. A lot of those are probably SCVs for that matter. Looking at the unit station, I got 31. The other player has 23. So yes, they're definitely ahead on army supply compared to workers. As the army supply is, or the plain supply is similar, but having a lot of workers is going to mean less army. As they're moving in here, I have stim. The Terran opponent does not. They have a pretty diverse army here now. Even just a single sentry in there probably could use more sentries. That scout moving in, and there's a huge ball moving in here. Could not be ready for this. There's quite a choke here. They might not be able to utilize all of their forces at a time. Training some units up here. My ally making more Zerglings, trying to get as much of them into this choke as possible, trying to whittle their forces down. Stim being used. Not all my guys are able to engage, but now here we go. Let's see who wins out here. Stim versus shields. Stim and shields versus just shields. Look at that. This force able to weaken this one a great deal, but who will win out? And who is macroing back up? I'm making more army here. Only the Terran player rallying more units in. But look at that. Protoss player rallying in more stalkers. Terran player moving in more marauders. We're trying to hold out here with some Zerglings. Making a Roach War now. And splitting their armies, some into my ramp and some onto my allies. And if you notice here, the units selected, they got shared command on, shared unit control, but one player is, but they're using each other's units in separate armies. Looks like a teal player is using these units, purple Protoss using these ones, rallying in more units here. Looks like all my SCVs go down, trying to build more units up to be able to fend these off out of 3 barracks, desperately trying to get up 2 more. Single medevac here, trying to keep these units alive as best she can. Looks like she's going to do just that. Even some units down here trying to take down this expansion. Will they be able to do it? Not a whole lot of reinforcements here to be able to defend against this. Orbital command, well, go on, it goes down. Not good at all. All these units swarming in here, more on the other side. Only these few units to be able to defend. But what are they going to do? Are they going to move these forces in and just be able to deal the killing blow? Oh, it looks like this hatchery is going to go down now. A lot of roaches look like they're about to spawn. My forces moving in here, able to clean this up. Look at all these forces just sitting right outside. All of my SCVs are gone. All my allies' drones and his main are gone. Rebuilding over here at his expansions. And another engagement here. My small force and a few roach, and maybe just a roach. Oh no, that roach going down. Probably concentrated stalker and marauder fire dealing extra damage to that unit. That small force going down. Even the medevac. Even on one base, look at this, there's still 15, some of the mineral patches even being gone in the main bases. Some more roaches must have just spawned right here. Some more of my units coming in trying to whittle this force down, be able to defend against it. Not a whole lot of units being macroed up. Here I go, looks like I just queued up some more. But definitely need to be queuing up way more units. Sitting on a little bit of resources, but these units able to clean up this base. No more larvae there to be able to spawn reinforcements.